to Chuck's Robotics Workshop. We're going to be talking about the servo today. Servo essentially is just a little plastic box, has a motor in it, a control board. On the top there's a transmission which has plastic gears. The shaft that's on the top, we call that the output shaft. That's where we hook up our robotic items. Things that we may want to move around, maybe move a wheel, do something with it. Try not to ever force the servo to move because of the transmission and the gears that's in there. They could be stripped out. So we want to be careful about that. So simply, it pops on, pops off, and you can put it in just about any position you want. You'll notice here that there are 3 electrical wires. Brown is ground or negative. Red is plus or positive. And orange is the, actually that is known as the pulse width modulation, or the signal lead, denoted by the letter S. Okay, so what else do we know about a servo? Well, a servo is a unique item because it can be positioned pretty much anywhere you want in the radius that it's designed for. For instance, the servo can go counterclockwise, can move clockwise, but not continuously. Not like a regular motor that makes revolutions. This will have a stop on the left side and a stop on the right side. So it'll get to a certain point and then have to stop, then get to another point and then have to stop. So, in your kit, you have a bag that you can open up right now and remove your servo. You'll notice that there's 2 bags in there, one for the servo, one for the horns and the screws. And we have different types of different servo horns that get connected up to the output shaft. You'll notice also that there's a hole in the top of the servo horn that the screw can go right in, and we can screw that in with a Phillips head screwdriver when we're ready to mount that down. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have. Let's push him out of the way, and let's take out of the kit the servo module controller. You'll notice the controller is powered by USB and has 3 lights. They're called LEDs. There is input power, which actually connects to the USB, which happens to be red positive 5 volts and negative 4 ground. You'll notice on this side there is 3 pins, and there's 3 pins in order. The servo never gets hooked up incorrectly. You'll always connect it across here. And you'll always orient your servo controller so that the LEDs are on the top. We'll call that north. Then down here we'll call that south. And then on this side we'll call that east. And on this side we'll call it west. So, when the servo module controller is in front of you, take your servo connector and put the orange facing north. Incidentally, you can go to any one of the three sets to run your servo. You can actually run 3 servos at once, but we're not going to do that right now. Okay. So again, north, south, east, west. On the west side of the module controller, we're going to hook up our servo. Orange to the top, brown to the bottom, south. So orange to north, brown south. Okay. I have one of these little USB power units. You can plug your USB into your laptop, or you can use one of those Amazon little modules or whatever. They're all over the place. People have them. So hopefully you have them too. And then you just plug in your connector. Notice that the lights, which we're going to call them LEDs, because that's actually what they are, light emitting diodes. There is mode 1, mode 2, mode 3. Now notice in mode 3, the servo begins to move. It moves back and forth. Notice it reaches fully counterclockwise and stops, and then reaches fully clockwise and stops. And you'll notice it's not a full, not even a complete revolution. You might have, maybe 90 degrees there or so. Okay? Now if we press the button again, it goes into remote control mode, where I can, by turning this knob, I can make the servo move proportionately. That's what's important about that orange wire. That allows the control that we have here, and that's really what makes up a servo motor, so that it's positioned wherever we want. Now can you imagine a robot arm, his shoulder, he now wants to stand at attention. Now he's moving his arm this way, he moves his arm that way, and so on and so forth. Or maybe it's his head. He wants to look to the right, he wants to look to the left, and so on and so forth. Hopefully you're getting some ideas here. Now, here's the interesting thing though. Press it one more time, and the middle LED lights up. That is the center. That is the center. That is the position where it's locked in place, and you can get it wherever you want. Let's say, for instance, you want to position it like this. Now, being that's the center, you might want to set up your knob to be pretty much on the center like that. Oh, by the way, there's no movement in this mode, so that's an incorrect statement. Also in this mode, mode 3, mode 2 and 3, you have no control. Mode 1 is the control mode. And watch, I can move it fast, or I can move it very, very slow. Could you imagine this being some type of video system on Mars, and it looks over and pans to the left, and then pans to the right? It catches something over on the left, moves quickly, and then tracks it. Just like that. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so that is our control module. And let's put it in mode 3. What happens in mode 3? Moves back and forth like windshield wipers. It's done all automatically for you. Okay, put it back to mode 1. And we're back in our remote control. We can set this up for however we want. Okay. We'll turn them off by disconnecting the little power module. I got this one from First Liberty. They were giving them out as little door prizes or just freebies. Okay, now let's disconnect our servo, put him away, and let's take a look at what comes out in the next video, video number 2. Video number 2 will show you how to build your own working robotic gripper. And you can see we have a set of tweezers here, our servos set up, our control wires, and a special 3D printed plastic frame with the exact angle to keep it nice and balanced. So essentially, when we turn on the servo, it's going to close and open, and we'll be able to move and do things. Again, I'm Reverend Charles Walsh from the Lighthouse Church here in Great Falls, Montana, and the president and founder of the Great Falls Robotics Club. I'd like to welcome you again for joining me. If you have any questions, please give me a call. You'll find that number on Facebook on the club page. Thanks again for joining me, and get ready for video 2.